Hello, CONF. I'm sorry I can't be there in person with you guys and all again in beautiful sunny Belgrade, but I have something I hope you all will appreciate. You are yourself. You start there. It's been a cold COVID winter, and we've learned a lot in the past few months, the last couple of years, a lot about ourselves. I'm Craig Sellars, and I helped build the world's first, purest, and most popular stablecoin, Tether. It continues to shine brightly. I went on then to create the very first NFTs called VATOMs, or virtual atoms, with Eric Poulier and Reeve Collins at Atomic in 2015, which later became BlockFi. And I promise you, what's coming next in the NFT space is incredible. Truly dynamic, autonomous digital objects. But what happens underneath it is even more important. The most important aspect of decentralization is identity, the self. I like to call myself a blockchain philosopher and technologist because I hope that my creations become ephemeral yet persistent. But underneath all of this is a being, an entity, you. You are the thing that powers everything. You are what turns the crank, writes the code, makes the salads, but you're also the thing that tastes snowflakes, writes poems, and creates art. That's you, everything. The value that you create, the value that you bring into existence, and the value that you share with others. Infinite potential from a unique entity. You see, you are an NFT. You are non-fungible, and you can also be many other things. See, I want to unveil the beginning of something that I've spent the last several years developing and my entire career planning. I believe this is the most important thing I've ever worked on, even more important than creating the digital dollar Tether. What we have is something that I believe will cause a massive shift towards recognizing the value of the individual, a shift so important that it will change the paradigm of data, value, the internet, but most importantly, identity. This is what underlies everything when it comes to digital ownership. What I'd like to share with you today are two halves of the same whole. That whole will become the first open source, open standard protocol similar to Bitcoin or HTTP, which allows any organization or individual, from government entities, simple mobile phone applications, to create and utilize a true user-controlled, self-sovereign identity standard, fully agnostic, and 100% decentralized. This simple yet robust developer toolset is called keychain.org. We refer to it technically as MDIP, or Multi-Dimensional Identity Protocol. And it is based on the concept of organic growth from a seed of intelligence, branching into many dimensions as you reveal yourself to the outside world. And it is rooted in W3C DID standards, so everyone will know what each other looks like. With keychain.org and yourself, your identity is on the blockchain. Your information is encrypted on IPFS and referenced from your address on the blockchain, starting with Bitcoin using the Omni layer. Keychain.org was designed to start with the secret that is you, your identity. In a binary system, this is called anonymity. And at its core tenet, it begins with a set of cryptographic primitives, which ensure that a user shares only the data they approve with the entities that they choose. This can happen on any number of dimensions, some of which are connected to the root identity, while others are separated or branched off from that root that is you. Okay, this revolutionary approach ensures that individuals are able to share data with any other person, app, platform, company, government, organization, or government at meticulous levels of privacy at every single step. It allows an entity to know only the certain things that you, the user, choose to share. The system affords users the facility to grant proof of self via attestation, a zero-knowledge proof, without ever giving access to their actual personally identifiable information, PII, or personal medical information, PMI. Now flip the coin. The other side is an application layer and platform built to utilize the keychain toolset and to enable you as the identity, or you as the organization, to facilitate the function of simply signing in with yourself. Yourself. It's just connecting your wallet, but now it's you. Okay, this includes the ownership, the sharing, and the monetization of your personal information, the value that you create to revolutionize data and the inherent value of the individual in a data-driven economy. The Self-ID platform is extremely flexible and contains an underlying structure designed to mimic the natural framework of atoms and molecules. And we use this structure to create the individual digital genome. It was built to support a variety of use cases, from NGOs to web applications to mobile applications and the 1.7 billion unbanked people globally, from refugees to the Federal Reserve. See, identity has consistently been a complex problem to solve. And we figured out many ways how not to build it. For example, every other identity platform out there wants to own your information, all of it, in their private database. In their private database, what do you think they do with that information? You see, you should own your data. It belongs to you. We don't know who you are. We don't want to know who you are. All we want to know is that there's an open network of identities exchanging information about themselves with one another in a secure fashion. You see, you, yourself, keychain, and self-ID needs to implement the most powerful core technologies. Architect rock-solid implementations. Create the most frictionless approaches for usability. Align with strong strategic partners to form a world-class team and to construct the world's first interoperable digital identity marketplace, which brings with it an enormous opportunity for individuals and data providers to bring value from what they provide. The Self-ID platform is a user-facing layer which sits on top of the keychain toolset and facilitates the transacting of identity and data for both platforms and users alike. And it does it in a way that's never been seen before or even understood before. And see, users, people, they're becoming increasingly aware of the universal need to have control and ownership over their privacy and data. Your data, that's you. See, we've seen this wave approaching and have put countless hours into making sure that each step of this process for the full, open, and complete ownership of data is approachable and understandable, so that any person who uses their self-ID, even the very first time using the protocol directly or within the app, will be able to successfully navigate their way through this new paradigm of identity ownership, like signing up for the Uber of Ubers and never looking back. Diving into research and innovation, we wanted to explain why a user would use self-ID. And this would require a complete reframing of the identity and data problems. You see, every day you log into platforms by signing in with X. You're likely unaware that each time you do it, you're giving away massive amounts of information to huge corporations which track, trace, and market you. Yes, they market you. Instead, how about you make them market to you? The information is being monetized without any opportunity for you to participate, even though you're the generator of that data and that content. See, you're the progenitor of the value that you create, and you and only you should determine how that value is realized and revealed. See, self-ID helps you gradually understand that you should control your data, and that if you do, you should be paid for it. You should be paid for what you create and share. And we do this by making the request for data clear and making the monetary value of that data completely transparent. By using your self-ID over time, the users and the public will become more and more aware of the importance of owning their own identities and their own personal information. Users will begin to think of their digital identities as their digital genome. And in the same way that our physical selves are the product of our human genomes, our digital selves are the product of our digital genome. Self-ID opens up new opportunities for every type of entity: individuals, partners, apps, platforms, organizations, advertisers, resellers, companies, organizations, and governments. Once an entity has joined the ecosystem, they have access to request data from any other entity in the ecosystem by requesting it from the user. Everyone's a peer, everyone. As more individuals, groups and individuals and integrators begin using Keychain, and as more partners join with the self-ID, the incentive grows for other even larger players to integrate as well. The metaverse of metaverses becomes more and more populated, and you can navigate them all freely without restriction. See, advertising costs nowadays are usually measured in cost per click, but realize that those same marketplace dynamics work the same way backwards. Pricing per transaction to receive data on the self-ID marketplace is driven only by the market and demand, what you create. Users who choose to share their information and the partners who validate the information, they're all compensated because they're part of that chain. This is a totally new paradigm of establishing, defining, transferring, and attesting of value for all participants in the ecosystem. Piece by piece and day by day, as each new user comes on board declaring their identity, making claims and attestations about the one they know, the network grows. And overlaid data streams provide intrepid viewers with information with an unbefore-realized treasure trove of data that is yours. And that data has been willingly provided by the user, by you, to be monetized. And the cream of the crop rises to the top. So you are who you are. And now you can control who you are online. Yourself. Thank you, everyone.